I've definitely got wiser in terms of business. For me, property is one vehicle to make money, but property is not the only vehicle to make money, and I recognize that. So for me, I've just become smarter in terms of business. I need to get what I can get from property, and I need to now put that into other areas, so I'm not just heavily reliant on property.
Alright, so we're in the second property now.
Yes.
So there's contractors in all of them.
Yes.
So just to cover the numbers of the last property we were just in, do you have the individual figures, or do they pay in a lump payment?
So
Is this through Airbnb? It's not, is it? It's direct.
No, so this is direct. So these, how did they find me? I think one of them stayed in my property. No, in fact, they found one of my properties on Airbnb, and they were like, "Do you have any more?" So so a lot of times leads can come in through Airbnb, but I take them off market because obviously on Airbnb they take their commission, but obviously when it goes direct, you don't have to pay no commission.
Are you allowed to do that?
Are you allowed to do that? So in all fairness, technically no, but yes.
No, but yes. Okay.
Okay. The reason why I say that, because obviously they booked through Airbnb, but obviously they wanted to stay again. So I was like, cool, I'll give you a discount if you book again. And obviously I did give them a discount. So the first time they booked, they paid £4,200.
Cool.
Exactly. So I'm like, you know what, cool, let's make it work. And that's how I do to a lot of people.
Yeah. So when you say the contractors, are you negotiating the deals in terms of stuff with a firm? Is it individuals? Are they self-employed? How does?
So it's a company. So
it's a company.
The manager of the company, I'm speaking to him direct, and we've negotiated how much we're going to pay.
So you're dealing with one person, you're dealing with the decision maker, you're not dealing with 10
Yeah,
different
yeah,
people,
no.
10, a plumber, a scaffolder. Okay, cool.
Dealing
That
with
makes
one
sense.
person, yeah.
So in terms of the numbers on this property now, so this was your first property in Abbey Wood, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So we visited this a while ago in another video that we did. So you got contractors in here now. What are they paying you for this? On a let's say on a nightly rate as well. Let's include that if you can.
Cool.
If you got a nightly figure.
So, but contract, because they pay for the whole month.
Okay.
However, I will compare it to how much it'll be on Airbnb to how much the contractors. Cool. So in a nutshell, I'm making less with the contractors than I would on Airbnb. But the reason why I don't mind is because it's completely passive. I don't have to think about anything. I just do clean once a month. That's it. So these lot are paying me $3,700 a month. The rent for this property is $1,950 minus $1,950. So that's $7,050. Then I'm gonna minus the bills. For this property, it's about, I'll just say about 500 minus 500. So this property is making 1,250 passively. Like I'm not doing anything. So that's
in profit. That's
profit.
what's paying for Bora Bora.
This is profit. Exactly. So this is complete profit. If this was on Airbnb, it'll make more money.
Okay.
If this was an Airbnb,
how much more? Okay,
cool. So this is 1,250 profit with contractors.
Yes.
If this was an Airbnb, it was doing, let's just say, I would say around 180 a night. That's how much it's doing, 180 a night.
Okay.
So it was doing 180 a night. So 180, I'm going to times it by 21 because that's averaging out throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
70% occupancy. So that's 3,780. So it brings in 3,780 on average, and then minus the rent, which is 1,950.
Yeah.
That's 1,830. Yeah. Minus the bills again, which I say was like 500.
Yeah.
This was at 1,330. But again, I was conservative with the numbers because this property was doing 180 to 200 a night. Okay. So that's why, because I was being conservative, and it's 21 days. Yeah. So, but this one, either way, I would probably say he's probably making about 1.6 profit if it was on Airbnb fully.
So we're sacrificing additional profit for the fact that you don't have to give as much brain power to this.
Bro.
Okay, so is that with a view to, are you coasting right now? Or do you not want to think about this so you've got more bandwidth to scale your business? Where are you at?
You know what it is, yeah? I think when we done a video previously and I told you how there was a period where I was almost struggling to pay rent and I was panicking, that really taught me a lot about business. So for me, I have to diversify. You need to learn how to diversify. A lot of people, when they want to go into rent to rent, they only want to do Airbnb or they only want to do HMOs. For me, I'm diversifying my whole thing. So there are some of my properties which are still on Airbnb platforms or Booking.com, and they're on a nightly rate. You're risking it. You know, not risking it, but yeah, you're putting it on the platforms. But however, there are some properties where I do like a long-term client inside, and I think when you mix and match both of them together, that's what creates real stability. So for me, that's how I'm always going to operate. Some properties might be for this strategy, some properties might be for that strategy, and the same thing whether I'm buying as well. It's always going to mix and match.
So you mentioned a lot of your properties and things that you're taking on now, they come through your network. They basically just, they're put in front of you, you do the numbers, they make sense, you take them on board, right? So you're not really actively out there hunting on a daily basis, maybe as you once were. Are you, is that someone outside?
Yeah, from here, push it. Yeah, like this. Okay. Alright.
I wanted to keep this part in because it's evident he's still very hands-on in his business. Like a lot of people think when you're making a certain amount of money, you're completely away from the business. He's helping deliver washing machines to one of his properties. You know, it's a Thursday, it's 3 o'clock. A lot of you are at work, he's at work as well. And there's no scenario where, again, I don't want to sound arrogant, obviously, it's speaking on behalf of him, but someone that's doing better than you, someone that's clearly making more money than like an average job, they shouldn't be outworking you. So the idea, and I know I make jokes and stuff, you might have seen me do content with Kelly and like I'm saying I don't want to work. There's a lot of work to be done before you can really put your feet up. And then even then, the people that have you can say the hustler spirit, they're still working. He can't rest. Genuinely, I've never seen him rest. I've been everywhere with this guy. He's always on the phone, always delivering linen somewhere, a broom, now a washing machine. He's good at what he does. Yeah, my question to you was, everything seems to come to you now so passively, because you've got skin in the game. You've been working in property for a long time, so you've got relationships. Deals kind of come to you now.
Yeah.
So, would you say you've taken your foot off the pedal?
I wouldn't say I've taken my foot off the pedal. I just think I've definitely got wiser in terms of business. For me, property is one vehicle to make money, but property is not the only vehicle to make money, and I recognise that. So for me, I've just become smarter in terms of business. I need to get what I can get from property, and I need to now put that into other areas, so I'm not just heavily reliant on property. So the same way that I diversified in property, I'm trying to diversify like that in business, to have a bulletproof business portfolio. Okay. So yeah, that's my next step after property, or in the next few years.
So when you say bulletproof business portfolio, what are things that you're actually looking at now? Okay, because a person might say, you're doing so well in property, why would you pivot? Why would you enter something something brand new? You know, because it's like going from I'm a footballer, I've done well, I'm gonna go play rugby now.
No, I get you. When I say bulletproof business portfolio, I'm talking about diversifying. Let's just say for argument's sake, a dog grooming business. I wanted to now.
You've had your heart set on now, I remember.
I don't know why I keep saying that. I don't know why I keep saying dog grooming business, but let's just say, for example, acquire a dog grooming business and I scale that business. Yes. For me, this is where a lot of money will actually come. Merging acquisition, I think let's call it SME. So merging acquisition, buying businesses where there can be some room for growth, and then either selling it on. So for me, that's actually the next step. It's something that I'm looking to. But for me, in terms of property, why don't I just stick with property? I feel like when you look at successful people in general, I feel like they know how to diversify their money. And I feel like from the experience, in the short experience I've had in life, I recognize that you can never be too comfortable in one strategy. Anything can happen that could thwart your whole business. So for me, I don't just want to heavily rely on one business. There's so many more ways to make money. So for me, why limit myself to just one?
Okay, I'm with you. So we've got a third property to visit today. Yes. So that we last on. So where is that one?
So that one's about 10 minutes away from here. That one is the first. Yeah. So that one's an interesting one. So that one, I never wanted to get that property. So it's actually in Thamesmead. So I never wanted to get that property because I was like, who would want to come and stay there? But bro, that property is always booked, man. Literally, it's always booked. It's crazy.
So what makes a good property then? So because if you're looking at a property and you're saying I don't want this, I don't think anyone's gonna come stay in Thamesmead. Obviously that was an oversight on your part. Yeah. But then it's turned into a profitable venture for you now. So what makes a good property? What are you actually looking at? Can you look at a building now and say, yeah, this will do well?
Yeah. So the first thing I'll look at is the location. That's the biggest thing. The location is what sells, especially when you're in London. Yeah. Obviously, I have properties outside London. I have Kent, I have Essex, as far as Nottingham. But no matter what area you are, the location is still the most important thing. And when people are coming to a certain area, they want to know, okay, what brings them into that area? So, for example, this property that we're in right now, the Elizabeth line is 1 minute walk. Yeah. You know, so I already knew from the get-go. Again, I didn't want this property, but I was like, you know what? The Elizabeth line is literally 1 minute walk. So even though it needed a mad refurb where I spent like £6,000, I was willing to spend that money because I knew that it was going to make me far more. So for me, the most important thing is the location. Now I'm also looking at sizes as well. Again, I don't really like to take on like 1-bed studios. I do have them in my portfolio, but I don't really like to take them on because for me, I've seen that bigger properties, they can attract big groups, contractors, and we have already built a good relationship with big companies, contractors, insurance clients. I know that if I get a property in the X location, chances are I probably have someone who can take it on the other occasion. So yeah, for me, it's just knowledge, innit? Knowledge of the area.
Should we go to the next one, yeah?
Cool, let's go. I couldn't sit on the beach and just chill, bro. Yeah, I get bored, bro. Like, so for me, I enjoy doing this, bro. Like, even though I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna deal with problems, bro. I enjoy this, bro. Yeah. I enjoy like working, bro. Like, because I always find something to do. So for me, bro, I can't like enjoy this. And also, you're providing a good service, bro. Yeah. Like, there's no better thing than providing a good service, knowing that people are happy to stay in your place, innit? So yeah.
Are you addicted to business?
I'm addicted to business. I think I am, bro. But you know what? I think it's in my blood, bro.
Okay.
Because you know what it is, yeah? From when I was obviously in secondary school, most people sold sweets and stuff like that. But me, I took it to the extreme, bro.
Okay.
Like, bro, like, there were sweets in my pencil case, bro, there were bare things, bro. Like, honestly, I took it to the extreme, but I love that, bro.
Yeah.
So for me, that's same. I feel like when you enjoy doing something, it's not going to feel like work.
So
that's why I'm able to go extra lengths in it. But obviously, I'm learning that there's a balance in it, man. There's a balance to all of this, man. So
let's get rid of the linen.
We'll
carry on, man. Where's it going?
From this place, minimal money I spent on getting this up to at least standard because this one was such a quick turnaround. So in this property, it was given to a social housing provider. They had it for 18 months. I was making about £1,000. Literally £1,000 profit because my rental land was 1,800, was gone up to 1,850, 1,800, and they were paying me 2,800. But for anybody in the social housing space, they'll know that the rates have slashed massively. So obviously they had to give the property back. But fortunately, the contractors told me that they needed a property ASAP. So with this one, I just had to get this one turned around quickly. Got my uncle, my little cousin to come in here. They didn't really care about all this stuff. They weren't even any of this when they moved in. They just wanted beds. So for me, minimal spend on this. This will obviously take me to the end of the year. And I think when they leave, I might probably going to spruce up to obviously make it for the standard that it should be.
That makes sense. So this property is a completely different area to where we were before. Still in South London. So how many bedrooms is this property?
So this one's a 3-bed.
3-bed.
This one's a 3-bed. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So 3-bedroom. Is that bedroom?
So that, you know what? It's 2 lounges.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's 2 lounges, but they've turned that one into a bedroom.
Okay.
They've turned this one into a bedroom.
Okay.
Again, bro, I didn't even fucking buy a TV, bro. Like, I told them they need to buy a TV, but they're not here to watch TV. They're here to work, innit? So yeah, I can't lie, bro. It's allowed things to be smooth. It's allowed me to maintain the cash flow because I didn't need to spend a crazy amount. But as you can see, a property like this for Airbnb, man, it's not gonna work like this, man.
Yeah.
Like, it needs some love. That's obviously the flat screen TV, the nice coffee table, the flower pot, and all that sort of stuff.
I'm with you. So who brought you this deal? Like how did this come to you?
Funny enough, I was actually looking for this deal. So I was looking for this deal 18 months ago.
Okay.
And there was the agent who, because I played semi-pro football. So when I messaged him, he knew of my name, and so he called me in, and he was like, "I already know who you are."
Yeah. But where did he know you from? Is it content?
From
property. Yeah.
Sorry, from football. Sorry.
Oh, football.
So from football, so non-league. So it's a small world, and so he said he already knew who I was.
Yeah.
And then obviously he done his checks on me, and he was like, "Okay, cool. You've been running for a bit." So yeah, 18 months, had this property, no issues. And so I was actually looking for that property still.
Okay, that makes sense. So deals seem to come to you very easily now. Like, how have you? Is there anything you've done in particular to foster these relationships with these people to the point where they trust you to bring these deals to you? Because essentially, you could probably go on holiday and deals will still kind of come through. You can make money from anywhere at this point.
I think for me, the biggest reasons I've noticed why a lot of deals come to me is because I take a lot of pride in building good relationships.
Okay.
Every single landlord, no matter what's happening with me, I'm making sure these landlords are getting paid. The landlords and agents are getting paid. It's not going to be a day late. It's not going to be a second late. It's not going to be no excuses. They're getting paid. And to be honest, more time when there's issues around the properties, the landlords don't really hear about it. I just deal with it.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what a landlord wants. A landlord wants to know that they can give their property to someone. Somebody's going to take care of it, maintain the property like it's their own, pay their rent on time with no issues, and having a long-term let. Okay. That's a landlord's dream. Long-term let, guaranteed rent, no issues, no dealing with maintenance, and consistent money. And that's what I provide for them.
Okay.
And because I do that, they're now able to spread the word and be like, you know what, give your property to this guy will sort it out. So for me, it's just providing a good service, man. So
being on the other side of this now, so what happens when the agents don't do what they're meant to do? Because you mentioned the issue with this property now.
In terms of what?
So you mentioned £2,000. Was that for this property?
Okay, cool. So obviously that's with social housing company.
Okay.
So this property was given to social housing company. In the contract, they're meant to give me 1 month notice before they leave the property. However, they didn't. They gave me 1 month notice, and they just literally said take the keys back. And now obviously I went back and forth with them to obviously try and get the money back and make them abide by the contract. But in their eyes, because the council have already slashed their earnings and the property was sat vacant, they didn't want to lose rent on this property because they're already losing rent on 30 other properties. So because they have a bigger portfolio, they were like, you know, we're not going to do that. So for me, I lost £2,000. I could have tried to take the small claims court and stuff like that, but for me, it probably wouldn't have been worth it because they also have one of my other properties where they are paying. So it's like, do I now want to tarnish that relationship for this one property? Because for the past 2 years that they've had my properties, 2 of my properties, there's never been an issue. So for me, I was like, you know what? They're losing money on 30 properties. I'll take this loss on this one and just charge it, man.
So how do you approach that? Like because if someone steals your money, you're pissed.
Yeah.
You're pissed. So, but from a business standpoint, you have to kind of think of the longer game now.
Yeah, 100%.
Then have to think of your relationship. So you've put your relationship with this company above your 2K. Literally. So you put the long term ahead of the short term.
Literally, bro. That's literally it, bro. And you know what? I think it's more sense of pride, because the thing is, when I was in my house, I was like, no, these are taking a mick, bro. They owe me £2,000 and they're saying they're not going to pay. Yeah. So for me, it was more my pride than anything. And I feel like when people, especially in business, when you make decisions based on pride, more often than not, it's not going to be the right decision. So for me, I've learned to be able to put my pride to the side and actually think like a businessman. And what's a businessman going to do? They're going to play the long game. You know, they're going to focus on this relationship and be like, you know what, cool, fair enough. Let me understand their pain. They're not struggling on 30 properties that they've sat vacant. They're losing, if it's 2K, 30 times 2, that's 60K. Yeah. They're losing 60K. I can take this 2K hit and know I'm going to still make money, because again, the contractors are still in this property. Yeah. So I was like, you know what, let me put my pride to the side and let me just do it, and it'll work its way out.
Cool. So to then conclude the video, so we've spoken a lot about relationships. How do you build relationships with contractors, with social housing companies? Like, where do I even reach these people? Because I don't know if there's a directory or how do I begin?
So to be honest, with a lot of the things that it's through referrals, through people putting yourself out there. That's why for me, one of the biggest things that have changed my life is obviously put myself out there on social media. Yeah. Because a lot of opportunities come to me, you know, whether it's a landlord seeing me online and be like, you know what, I want to work with you, I want to give my property to you. So for me, I think it's really about putting yourself out there and really showing people what you can do, because your work speaks volume. Like, we're in a world now where your online is your digital CV. So for me, everything I'm doing, I'm showing that I'm doing it well. And also with the landlords I already have, I'm already building relationships. Even if I'm not asking for referrals, they're already speaking about me without me even having to do anything. So I think it's just about whatever you're doing it to the best of your ability. Don't try and cut corners. Like, be honest with how you do business, because at the end of the day, it's always going to pay itself right, man.
So something actionable for the viewers at home, because I think a lot of the times when I speak to people that are doing well, they kind of give you the whole, to be successful, you just got to be motivated and smile, and like that's what you're giving me, bro. I need action points. I need to be able to go to my laptop today and type in a few things and say, I can do this, this and this, and I've progressed. So like, how can I start my rent-to-rent business? Okay, cool. How can I start to build relationships with agents, social housing companies, contractors? Cool.
Well, the most important thing, as you said, you want to start your rental business, so you can't start that without educating yourself. Cool. So you have to know what you're doing. So when I think of myself and how I got to where I am today, I was online, understanding rent to rent, understand what it is that I'm getting myself into. Yeah. You know, before people try and say they want to guarantee a rent to a landlord, they need to know, okay, what does it mean to actually guarantee the rent? Yeah. How can they actually make money on Airbnb? So I would actually spend more time on YouTube, actually educate myself, okay, what is rent to rent? How does rent to rent actually work? Social housing, what is rent to rent social housing? What is rent to rent HMO? Just that little thing is the first step that anybody should take, because I'll never encourage anybody to go into a strategy without fully educating themselves. And obviously, again, I'm there where obviously people can reach me on Instagram. So if there's anybody actually out there who's actually looking for help with rent to rent, feel free to drop me a DM on Instagram _EZY_property. But yeah, aside from that, I think that's the most important thing, and also networking as well. So there's so many networking events that people can actually go to. If you're going Eventbrite, there's rent to rent events, there's property events that people can go to. I think it's really, those are the two initial steps that I think anybody should take before they ever decide to go into it. But also at the same time, stack your bread. You have to stack your bread, because a lot of people spoke to me, say they want to go into rent to rent, but they have like 2K, 3K. It's pointless. You, especially in London, you're probably needing around the 7K mark. So for me, those three things: be watching YouTube videos to actually educate yourself and know what you're getting into. Go to networking events to surround yourself with people who are actually doing what you want to do. And 3, save your money. Okay,
so to touch on that networking point, and you mentioned people kind of, they want to get into rent to rent with no money. So if I do have 2K, 3K, and I've gone to this networking event, what value can I offer these people? Because you've been to the networking events yourself. There's a lot of people at the same level.
Yeah, of course.
And everyone's trying to speak to the guy who's top dog essentially in the industry. So people want to speak to yourself. They want to speak to other people in the space to kind of leapfrog everyone else. They want to cut corners.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there anything I can offer to, whether it be people on my level or people higher, to actually get a foot in the door?
Yeah, the thing is, you can still get your foot in the door. For example, one of my mentees, Usman, he actually started, he was working as a care support staff, he actually started with deal sourcing. Now, deal sourcing is a low barrier to entry strategy than rent to rent, because you don't need the 7K to get into a property. You just need to know how to find deals. So for someone like that, if you know how to find deals, you know how to speak to agents, then you could actually bring deals to people who are looking for deals, and you can sell it for a fee. You can sell it for around 3K, for example. So that's a quick way to make some money. So obviously Usman's managed to do that. He's been selling deals consistently, and obviously now he's actually started his own rent to rent business. So for anybody who did want to start and they didn't have the 7K, then that is a strategy that you can do, deal sourcing.
Okay. So to just wrap up the whole video then, so this last property here, different area to the other ones. So what sort of figures is this turning over now as well?
So this one, yeah.
Contractors
So contracts on this one as well. As I said, they're paying 3,700 on this one. The rental landlord is, so they're paying 3,700. Rental landlord's 1,850. So that's literally 1,850. And then the bills on this one, again, because there's minimal cleaning, this one is actually about 450. So this one's 1,400.
Okay. So is this included in the package deal that you've got with the other properties?
With the contractors?
Yeah, with the contractors.
Yeah, it's the same company.
Same company. So all the same company. So this
company.
One, the ones in the other area,
all the same company.
So that's included. The 19K you got today.
All the same company. They pay me, bro. Yeah, so. Yeah.
Must be nice, man. This is good, business, man. This is good.
But bro, life, man. I'm still willing to pay for myself.
Yeah, that's very true, bro.
Life is expensive, man.
We'll get out of your hair. But is there anything you want to say to the audience or people that might be potentially watching this, thinking, I want to get into rent to rent? I'm not sure. Should they reach out to you? Is there any way you want to refer them to? Speak to the people, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, if you are watching this, whether it's rent to rent, whether it's deal sourcing or property strategy that you might need help with, again, feel free to just actually reach out to me on my Instagram. I might be able to point you in the right direction, whether it's educating yourself, pointing to the right videos, or actually giving you further guidance, or hopping on a call. Just feel free to drop me a DM on Instagram. It's _EZY property. So yeah, make sure you follow, and also check out my YouTube as well, _EZY property as well.
Thank you for watching the video. Remember to leave a like, comment and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you have a physical premises or if you have a service-based business, if you want to do some content and feature on the channel, drop me a DM on Instagram. You can drop a DM to the Chisel YT Instagram as well, or I think all the links will be in the description. If you're looking for social media content as well, whether that be consultancy or production, then I'm your guy. Aside from that, I hope you're enjoying these new videos, and I'll see you in the next one.